Stefon Diggs traded to the Bills, which I think we were both kind of right on that. Now, I think you felt like he was going to be moved. If memory serves, I could be wrong on that. My argument when we did the fantasy football series is regardless of whether or not he gets moved or he stays in Minnesota, I thought he was going to have an uptick in fantasy value. I do like him going to Buffalo. You got John Brown, who does create separation and is good by himself. Buffalo needed another receiver. I get why they made the trade. I think it's a great trade for them. But well, at least in terms of acquiring a talent. But when I look at Minnesota and what they got for him, I'm thinking, wow, Minnesota, I think Minnesota was committed to keeping Diggs on the roster. And Buffalo, I thought that trade, they gave up a lot for him. They made a very aggressive move. And, I think hopefully it'll work out for both teams because, I'm not really hating on either one of these guys. But Minnesota, I think they take a step back this year. They get a little bit worse, in my opinion, getting rid of Diggs because, now you got basically Thielen and Olabisi Johnson. In the passing game. Hopefully Kubiak can scheme around that a little bit and, create some separation, and that system does do that kind of thing. But, Minnesota gets like 10 picks. What was it? It was like a first and a fourth and a fifth and so on and so forth. Just a lot of stuff.
Yeah, no, they definitely got a volume in the picks, unlike another trade that happened where that was very underwhelming for another stud receiver. But for me, with Stefon Diggs, I don't really love the fit. I feel like Diggs is really more of like a precision route runner and is a guy that creates space and separation. And I just don't see Josh Allen. I don't describe his passing style as, he's going to drop back, analyze the field, break it down, go through his read. Like that's like not Josh Allen. Josh Allen's like first read and like, okay, I'm going to run around and then go like chuck it like 50 yards downfield and like maybe it'll be accurate, maybe it won't be. Like
I actually compared him young Josh Allen to young Cam Newton in that way.
Yeah.
And we're seeing Cam Newton, he's older, he's getting nicked up more with these injuries and all that stuff. And the same concerns me for Josh Allen, whereas Lamar Jackson, you can make that same kind of argument, but I feel like Lamar Jackson, not to make this a Lamar Jackson segment, but he's more of a student of the game, it seems like. It looks like he wants to do the things to be that precision quarterback like you're just referring to. Not to say both styles can't win. I mean, Cam Newton went to a Super Bowl, so there's no reason. And Buffalo has a nasty defense. But if nothing else, it'll draw some attention away from John Brown. So, I mean, but it is a lot of picks to give up, man, for him. A lot of picks, right?
I just think too, it's like I just don't see the Bills being a team that's like, Bills in another shootout. Like I just don't see that being their MO. Like they have a really good defense. Josh Allen has shown moments of kind of like a Jameis Winston-esque where he kind of like gets crazy with the ball sometimes. And it's okay to have a quarterback that, can make plays, but she can definitely do like off script. I think that's really important to have a quarterback that can move and that can make off script plays so that when they end up in a shootout, they still have a chance to win.
Right.
But I don't think that's the game that they want to play. Like, I don't think their game is like, all right, Josh Allen dropped back 40 times. And it's just like, that's not going to happen. And that's been the issue with Diggs has been basically like, yeah, when he gets targets, like he's a fantastic, but like, I just don't know if that's going to be the case here. I am not so sure that he's going to go in, be the target alpha in the room and get all the targets because, I mean, the guy couldn't even out-target Adam Thielen. And Adam Thielen's no slouch. Like, don't get me wrong, but
sure.
The guy got traded as a wide receiver 1, and he wasn't even the wide receiver 1 on his own team.
Yeah.
So that's my main concern.
Yeah, and like I said, I do think the Vikings take a step back. I thought going into all things going into the free agency, they were the number 1 team in that division, in my opinion. Now I think Green Bay. We'll see what happens because Green Bay has wide receiver issues of their own, but I think Green Bay caught up a little bit. And yes, I do know Green Bay won the division last year, but just an interesting trade. Again, the volume there, I think as an organization, Minnesota won that trade. I think maybe in season 1 year, 2 year kind of run, maybe Buffalo did, but you raise really good points.